Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party.
Right now.
I've been waiting here all day to act like some fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party.
Right now.
Oh, chocolate and dabbing. Maybe some microphone dabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric Page.
Ooh, new remix there. Paige dropped a new ad lib. I have to do a whole new video now. Get ready.
What?
All right. Everyone, welcome to the show. Joined today by Earth69 Eric, who looks a lot like Robert Storms, and we have Lance over here this week. So, hello, everyone.
It'll never get old. It'll never get old.
It'll never get old. So we are going to be talking about this week's episode of The Flash, primarily like the ending. I think that's what everybody really wants to talk about, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the stream. We're going to save that for the end. We have a lot of tiny stories to discuss. It's like, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different small stories to talk about. So we'll get through those. But first things first. I got a package in the mail all the way from Tasmania. I mean, from Australia, not Tasmania. Just kidding. From Paige. I haven't even opened it yet. Let's see what this is.
We could get a live injury.
Yeah.
Live stabbing of self.
Let's see what this is. Oh, I know what it is, but I'm pretending I don't know. Let's see what this is. It is another Down Under box full of goodies. There's treats.
To goodies.
There's snacks and treats in here. So Paige sent this over to me. I was gonna try and do it this week, but Pagey's flexing on us and he's taking a week away. He's going camping.
The opposite of a flex, yeah. It's like
he's going camping. So this is gonna go in the fridge, and then we will do a stream like next weekend or whenever he gets back. And I will be taste testing all of these things. And unlike Ben, I will eat crisp if they're in here. So
I think it's all chocolate and like candy. What
candy,
do you call
sweets.
it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, demonetized.
They're more treats rather than snacks and treats. I think it's more on the treat side.
So everyone asking about the Weekly Geekly. My brother has a new job now. He had been unemployed for quite a while, unfortunately, and he got a new job. So we had to take the week off because he was actually dealing with that. But we will return this week, and we'll be talking about both episodes of Moon Knight, just so everyone knows. I didn't post anything about it because I was also doing something. It was like a combination of stuff that happened that just I wasn't prepared for. I didn't get home in time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. It was the only thing we were talking about is Moon Knight, and we can do that in the Weekly Geekly this upcoming week. All right. That's pretty much it for pre-show stuff, I guess. Anyway, so I guess we should talk about, I've got so many stories here. I think the first one we should talk about is actually, I don't want to do it. We might as well get it out of the way. Let's talk about Ezra Miller again at the beginning here, because I feel like we just get it done, get it taken care of. Let me share the article here. Some of these things I will have links to share. Other ones I will not. But this one is interesting. Oh, it's the wrong one. Are we talking about this first? I guess we'll talk about this first then. Live show. Ezra Miller can wait. Let's talk about this overhaul of Warner Brothers and Discovery, which I think is quite interesting. I saw the article. There's been several stories about it, and I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a possibility that this could be a good thing. There's a possibility it could be a bad thing. I know there's a super chat. I saw someone mention that. I will talk about it between this and the next story. But here it says that Warner Brothers Discovery exploring overhaul of DC Entertainment. The new owners of all things Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are exploring an overhaul of DC Entertainment. Multiple sources close to the situation told Variety. Now, before I go any further, are we kind of believing that this is a real thing? Does this feel like it's really happening? Or is this still kind of like unknown sources kind of stuff?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me too much if this is the case, but when you read the article, it sounds like a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Like by the end of it, when you get to the end, you read the entire thing. It sounds like, yeah, Discovery is going to be watching what's happening with DC, which is the biggest no-brainer of all time because they just bought the company that has DC within its umbrella. Like, hello.
And then it just says more to come. So it's that was a big red flag to me. I'm like, okay, why did I waste my time?
Yeah. And so, and I'm not going to read this whole article, by the way. I just kind of that's why I was asking. Kind of the gist of it is they're saying that they had seen the success of some of the properties and the other ones had not been so successful. And that they were looking for someone to oversee this division that is a business person, not necessarily a creative person, but someone that has experience in running a business, like to be able to make it a profitable venture for them. Do you think this is a good decision for them? Because, you know, Marvel has Kevin Feige and he does some creative, but he's also kind of the guy that decides what's going to work and what's not going to work and where everything goes. Do you think that would work for like DC, having someone like that in control that is more business minded? Or do you think they need a more creative person like, say, Zack Snyder or, you know, Jim Lee, someone like that?
Well, the issue with that is if they go with the quote unquote business minded person, they're going to end up back where they were and enter another Justice League fiasco. Mm-hmm. That was the whole issue around that, is that they were trying to make money with the whole Kevin Tsuchihara thing. And that's what that sounds like if they're just trying to. And the thing is, everyone's going like, oh, that means they're going to be like making all this different type of content. But David Zaslav is, whatever his name is known as like a penny pincher or a penny puncher, whichever way you want to put it. Like he'll try and make as much money as he can off little amount of money, which is what DC's been doing recently anyway. Like outside of the Suicide Squad, everything's sort of been on the lower budget side anyway to try and increase the profitability off it.
Anything street level is going to be lower budget. And they've done a lot of that, especially with like the Joker movie and then Batman.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think if you head into like that business leader type thing as like the head of it and the main thing around it, I think you're heading for trouble. I think they keep what they're doing. And I think it's maybe more about trying to sell the product more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's been the issue. Like Warner Brothers has always been known, especially, well, not always been known, but they're very inconsistent with their marketing. Sometimes they do it very well, but then sometimes you don't know if they just got lucky.
Right.
Like I think the best marketed film they've done, or the two best marketed films they've done over the past 5 years or something are Joker and The Batman, which funnily enough are the two movies that exist out of the main universe.
Yeah.
So why is that the case? Shouldn't you be putting a lot of advertising into the movies or doing the same with the ones in universe?
Mm-hmm.
Which then streamlines into why the MCU is so successful, because you only need to advertise a handful really well, and then it's pretty much a domino effect. Like you still have to advertise the ones that follow, but not as heavily. You don't have to put as much in because people get, they get attached to it all. They want to see it continue.
Now, Lance, I've saw people discussing this comments made about Superman about being a property that needs to be more fully realized because it is such a profitable thing. And then I'm thinking, like, do they not watch Superman and Lois? I mean, Superman and Lois is definitely showing that they are utilizing Superman. They've just kind of not had him on the film side for a while. Do you think that this means that we might see maybe more Superman stuff in the future? Are you hoping for that? Are you a fan of the Henry Cavill Superman, or you want to see like a Val Zod? What do you think is going to happen with DC in that regard?
Well, I would say that first off, like I've had no problem with like Henry Cavill. Like his portrayal is pretty good. I would love to see him come back and reprise the role. But at the same time, it's like we still have we have Superman and Lois. And like you said, when this whole article dropped and various articles spun out from this, the first thing you saw all down Twitter, TikTok, Facebook was, oh, we're gonna get Henry Cavill back. You're gonna restore the Snyderverse, and you know that basic spiel, whatever you want to call it. At the same time, like, who do we really care like that?
Well, here's the thing, though. Also, if anything, this sounds to me like they're not restoring anything. They're doing something completely different.
Go a whole nother direction. And again, that's not a bad thing. But we as fans, it's just the toxicity of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to keep getting articles like these from Variety and Deadline and CBR and all these other places that are like trying to jump on top of this story and build and build and build.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, if we get Superman, if we get him back in the movies, that's cool. But at the same time, I mean, as soon as this article dropped, they dropped more information about what? Wonder Twins?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. That's going to be
interesting. Like, they think people are getting their hopes up thinking that they're going to just, you know, go all in on the Trinity.
Yeah.
They're gonna we're gonna get Ben Affleck back. We're gonna get more Wonder Woman. All this crazy stuff just based off an article.
I saw articles about Patty Jenkins being fired, which I'm like, where did that even come from?
Like, are they literally going to be announcing isn't there like a big interview coming out on Tuesday from Forbes?
Yeah.
With Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins. Yeah. And it's not about Cleopatra because didn't Patty Jenkins step down?
But I will say the usual suspects were making the videos on it, so I kind of knew that it was like a BS story anyway.
Yeah.
Like so what were you going to say, Paige, about the restoring the Snyderverse? You were going to chime in there. What were you going to say about that?
The article literally says they're not they're not restoring the Snyderverse without saying it. Because they're pretty much saying they're not going to make ridiculously, like Zaslav, once again, he's not going to spend all this money making movies that don't turn ridiculous profit, which is what the Snyderverse was.
Mm-hmm. I saw a pop-up from Cal being a Team Eric member for 7 months. Thank you so much, Cal. Anything else to add to this story, or we just want to wait and see what's going to happen?
I think it's a wait and see. But even with the Superman comments, it's like... got 2 in the project or 2 in the works. They've got the Ta-Nehisi Coates one, which apparently I saw something online. I don't know if it's real or not, that he's meant to be handing in his first draft of the script.
Yeah,
I didn't see any like.
I don't know what the source was.
I didn't see a reliable source.
Yeah, I didn't need those things where you look for like something from Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or something like that. And I
just said it online. I don't think
it's like one of those Instagram accounts. It's like the Flash has been renewed for season 10, or like where do you get that information from? It's so stupid.
But then you got the Michael B. Jordan one, and then he's also attached to doing like Static Shock as well. So like, it's a wait and see. Everyone's so impatient nowadays, and just like you just need to let things happen. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't film a movie in one day.
Speaking of impatient, I'm going to talk about that when we get to some stuff that came up on Twitter. We'll talk about that.
Oh, I'm going to talk about. I thought you were referencing the Flash episode, and that page was right at the end of the day.
No, I wasn't doing that one.
Before we jump, again with the Superman thing, everybody is crying. Oh yeah, Henry Cavill's going to be back. What makes he? I have no doubt in my mind that he wants to be back. That he wouldn't mind reprising that role, but at the same time, wasn't he trying to, renegotiate the contract?
Yeah.
Well, so if that's still up in the air, we can't force WB nor Henry to come to us as fans. We can't bully them into it, and I think that's the problem.
It's also
fandom at large.
Go
it's
ahead.
Also he's got the ties to Netflix, and pretty much every other studio in Hollywood hates Netflix because Netflix has those contract things where. Especially with The Witcher, that would be his predominant thing. So that's always going to take primary focus.
Yep.
And I think this is mainly with Netflix's movies, but also goes along with their shows where they'll delay production. They never really sometimes commit straight up to a production date, and it messes another actor's schedules up completely. So that's why Henry Cavill would be a really unreliable, not just for him as a person, but because of his attachments to Netflix. For I guess multiple things, because he's also with the Enola Holmes thing as well, in regards to reliability. Even if it's just like, okay, we want you to film a Superman for 2 weeks on this movie, but then Netflix will be like, no, we've got stuff planned for him just to mess around.
And the other thing is that Netflix, when you get locked in and you get good with Netflix, you don't get pigeonholed into one thing. They want you on like multiple projects, which means he'll get the chance to play more roles, which might be better for him because he'll be, he gets to play in Enola Holmes, he gets to be the Witcher, and then maybe there's a sci-fi project they're going to use him in later.
See, Robbie Amell got cast in The Witcher season 3.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah,
and like the day after the Flash episode, and I was like, oh, there you go.
Glad he stay getting work. I'm happy for him.
You know what? I'm happy about him because, honestly, if you would have asked me before which one between him and Steven were going to have the bigger opportunities, I would have said Steven. But Robbie's really been like hustling. Like he's getting his money, he's securing his bag all over the place. So I'm not mad about it at all.
Have you guys seen Upload?
Yeah, I like Upload. Yeah,
well, he did a lot of
It's not great. It's a fun show.
It has its pitfalls. But
there's a lot of things that I complain about. If I was reviewing it every week, I would be nitpicking the hell out of it. But it's one of those things where I think it's just a fun show.
Yeah, he did the rounds in Hollywood. Like he did a lot of different genres and different things like that. Like to try and prove versatility, and it's obviously working.
All right, so we're going to move on from that. We'll revisit this subject when we get some more information because right now it's a lot of just spaghetti talk, speculation. King Mike Todds with a $5 super chat goes, I always miss you guys stream. How are you guys liking Moon Knight? So we're not gonna spoil the episode because we talk about that on the Weekly Geekly. We'll do that this week. But since we don't really discuss that here, I'm assuming we're all watching it. And I will say that I'm enjoying it. It's not the most exciting right now, but usually with the Disney Plus shows, it takes about 4 episodes before things really get moving. So I'm suspecting in the next episode or so, we'll get like some big revelation that'll push it forward. But I'm enjoying it. I think it's cool to have like this like sort of disconnected story that doesn't tie into everything. I'm assuming it will at some point, but right now I like the different location and the different type of characters. Oscar Isaac is amazing. So what do you guys think? Are you liking Moon Knight or no?
Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
What about you, Paige? Are you watching it?
Yeah, I don't think I think it's once again, we always get it with the recency bias. Oh my god, it's the best Disney Plus show. I'm like, it's fine at the moment. Oscar Isaac is carrying it though. He's amazing. Like
if he was not Moon Knight, I think they'd be in trouble.
Everyone, you know how like everyone was going like how Elizabeth Olsen should have been nominated for like awards, if not won them. Then if he doesn't get nominated for stuff based off this, then I'd be very surprised because he's easily carrying it. Like if it was anyone else, I don't know if it would work. Like I think that, or at least they needed his caliber of actor. Right. I don't know if they would have been able to get that if it, seeing like in other parts of the MCU where they've cast people.
So I want to clear this up. There's no confirmation that's not getting a second season. What happened is, in order for Moon Knight to be nominated for a certain award, they had to be listed as a limited series.
Yeah.
And they said there's been issues with this in the past because some shows want that award and then they go on to do a second season because they're listed as a limited series, and then they do so well that they change their minds and they're like, oh, we want to do a second season. So right now we know that it is listed as a limited series, which I would not be surprised if that's all it is, especially if they want to use Moon Knight in the movies. But we don't know for sure it's not going to get a second season until they just literally come out and say they're not going to have a second season, which I don't think they have. There may be an article out there, but from what I saw, it just showed that they were listed as a limited series to get an award. Unless they've changed that sometime, some way. All right, let's talk about
a lot of shows do it. The White Lotus just did it for HBO.
Yeah,
I think Euphoria did it. Thing like they all do it.
Here we go. Yeah. Talk about Ezra Miller once again. A Hawaii couple drops restraining order against Ezra Miller. And there's only one part of this article I'm going to read, which is the first paragraphs here, and then we'll talk about what this means. A Hawaii couple have dropped their petition for a temporary restraining order against actor Ezra Miller, who is known for playing the Flash and Justice League films and allegedly harassed patrons of a karaoke bar in the Big Island town last month. I know they say allegedly, and people are like, well, it definitely happened, but for legal reasons, the Hollywood Reporter has to use allegedly. According to court documents, the judge dismissed a restraining order case Monday after the couple requested it. William Dean, a lawyer who represents the couple, declined to comment Tuesday on why his clients no longer want to pursue this petition that accused Miller of bursting into their bedroom and threatening them in Hilo, the same town where Miller was arrested. All right, so I'm going to say there was a check in the mail. This is just speculation, because not only was it wasn't mentioned in this article, but not only was it dismissed, but it was dismissed with prejudice, which is a big deal. This means that they can never, ever use that incident to prosecute Ezra or file a restraining order because they just completely dismissed it. So, and the fact the lawyer did not want to talk about why they dismissed it. I feel like tinfoil hat land here. This is going to be one of those things that there was some sort of gift or money exchanged. And this may have been the case with the incident that happened a couple years ago outside of that bar with the woman who was in an altercation with Ezra as well. Do you think, again, guys, all speculation, do you think this is WB trying to do like control this situation and try to like take care of it and get it swept under the rug?
At this point, Ezra Miller can come slap me straight away. Like slap me, just you can punch me, kick me in the gonads, whichever it is, because I wouldn't mind a payday.
Yeah.
Let's be completely honest.
They probably got offered 6 figures. I'm going to just go out on a limb and say they were offered.
Honestly, Ezra Miller could come into my house while I'm sleeping and yell, satanic chants. I'd be up for it. Whatever you want, well, whatever's up for it, whatever's going, I'll take it.
All I'm going to say is, hey, he got arrested and got off scot-free and still has his job.
And I'm not going to show the video here, Lance, but you have to remember, and not going to show the video, he was wilding in Hawaii, twerking, dancing like he had no care in the world.
It was almost like Ezra Miller watches the after party, because I saw some chocking going on.
I think so. Go on TMZ. I can't show it here because, I don't want to get in trouble with that. But go on TMZ on TikTok or Twitter, and they have the videos. I'm sure you've seen it online. That he is just like, I don't even remember. It was like 2 or 3 songs, but he's going off on the dance floor all by himself, just going off. And
buying people drinks too.
Yeah. I saw videos of that as well.
So like
that's one I did
it again. They were going off. They were going off.
I would take a slap, a punch, kick in the gonads. I probably wouldn't take a drink of Ezra Miller though. That's probably where the line would be drawn.
I don't even know. Like each week, I feel like we're just going to update the story with some other ridiculous thing that happens. This feels like the whole Ray Fisher thing all over again from like 2 years ago, where every week there was.
That was your favorite part of 2020.
It was not my favorite part of the episode, not at all. Speaking of Ray Fisher, he's good friends with Ezra, and Ray has been very quiet since this started. I went over on his Twitter, and he has not tweeted anything in at least 2 weeks now since this news broke. And a lot of people were asking him what he thought about it, and he's not responding to anyone. So,
I mean, we all know Ray Fisher got himself into a bit of a pickle as soon as you start that thing, because now he's associated with Amber Heard, filming with Amber Heard, filming with Jared Leto, filming with Ezra Miller, and you can arguably chuck Ben Affleck into the mix as well for drama in regards to it.
I just, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Look, I feel as if it's one of those things where, and I saw a couple articles. I think I was talking Paige to you last night, and someone else we were discussing the chance of Ezra being like completely erased from that universe. Do you think they're going to put up with this for much longer? How much more do you think they're willing to take from this? What does he have to do for them to be like, we're just not going to employ him anymore? I don't know.
Get clean. I think get clean is the only option. Even then, I don't know if it rewrites anything. I don't know if it, fixes what happened. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of is get clean, which I don't know what's going on with Ezra Miller. Like, I know what's going on in the old brain and everything like that, but there's obviously an alcohol issue. I think I was saying before, there's probably like an ego issue that goes along with that as well, which is one of the two worst things to combine, like alcohol and ego. So I don't know, like the fact that Ezra is still in Hawaii, dancing, twerking, chocking, whatever it is, that's a concern. That there's no leash at the moment. Like,
so this is interesting, and you're probably not going to like my answer because I'm very realistic when it comes to this. These kinds of boycotts in the past typically do not work.
They don't work.
They don't. Because we want to believe that there's all these people on Twitter that are such a large amount of people, but it's not. It's just like, not enough people to make a
lucky if it's
about
about 5% of the potential customer or audience.
So they're willing to take a hit on that, but I don't think it's going to affect the sales of the movie.
Yeah. It's the same with the Amber Heard one. The only difference in the Amber Heard one is it's getting televised. So maybe there could be a shift where it goes up to maybe like a 10-15%.
If something that Ezra does gets big enough to be on like a national like syndicated news show, maybe, but if it's just articles online, I don't think it's going to do anything. Yeah.
Like I don't even know if like places like Entertainment Tonight and stuff are talking about it. Like those TV shows.
Adam Strange over the $5 super chat. Tell Ezra in a Kanye voice, fine guy.
He needs to find more than God. He needs to find some common sense.
Yeah. I don't know if I take any advice from Yee anyway, to be honest. It's like,
well, Ezra's acting like Yee.
I mean, the stuff that he did with his family, let's not even get into that.
It's probably Kanye's bar that he's in.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. All right. Next story. Let's talk about, this is one that I'm sure
edgy.
Lance is excited for. We have a Wonder Twins movie coming out. Just what everybody wanted.
Water.
Okay. Wonder Twins here. And this is you know what? If Candy Grass was here, I'm sure he'd have a lot to say about KJ Apa for sure.
First of all, that's a terrible headshot. Like
it is. It's bad. But this is, let me say this. What's interesting about this is it's listed as a comedy. I was like, oh, so it's not even like a superhero action. It's just listed as a comedy, which means I suspect this. Oh, are we restoring the Snyderverse? Is that what's happening here? I don't think that's what's happening with this.
Is Discovery really taking it in a new direction?
I guess Riverdale stars KJ Apa and 1883 actress Isabel May have nabbed the alien sibling lead roles in the Wonder Twins, a live-action DC comedy for HBO Max. Now, I believe this is a movie, correct? It's just a film, not a series. So it's not a huge commitment, which means KJ and Isabel could still do other shows. But this is, and I've also seen drama about this, and I may demonetize myself for this one, that people are mad because they perceived the Wonder Twins to be of Asian descent, and that they don't understand why they cast KJ and Isabel. They don't look anything like Jan and Zan, I believe. Jaina and
Zan. It's Zan and Jaina. Zan and Jaina, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
See, I remember them from like the Super Friends back when I was like 5 years old. So I don't know anything about their modern like versions of these characters. But apparently people were saying, well, they're aliens. They're not anything. They're not from Earth, so they could be anyone. But there seemed to be a lot of people mad about that. But then the people that were mad about that were the same people defending Starfire, who also was an alien and could look like anyone. It's a weird argument.
It's the internet, Eric. People don't really make too much sense.
It's a weird argument. Adam Strangelove is upgraded his membership. Thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it. So yeah, and also just in case we were curious, to make this even worse, because it does get worse. The studio that is responsible for producing this for Warner Brothers is Temple Hill Entertainment. Now, look at the movies that it's produced. Twilight. Oh, let's go back there. Love, Simon. Nothing wrong with Love, Simon, but this is the kind of movies it puts out. Twilight's the one that's like a big red flag for me. Revenge, First Man, Fatherhood, The Fault in Our Stars. So this isn't a company that does like superhero stuff. The closest thing to that would be Twilight, which I think
seems like it's a lot of like indie stuff, because even Twilight looks like an indie film when like how it's made. At least the early one, the first one. I don't know. I don't really have too much issue with this. I mean, it's the Wonder Twins. Like it's meant to be sort of goofy, and I mean, like one just turns into objects, doesn't? I think is it.
Well,
the
one
guy
like
just turns
I
into
believe
objects?
it's like a bucket of water was like the
Yeah,
one that
just
is
a-
like
He turns into like a block of ice or something like that. I think it's the girl that has the cool powers.
yes, yeah.
But
Well,
the
the
guy
useful
just
one. The useful
yeah,
one.
like KJ Appa's character just turns into like he can just turn into like a I don't know, like a brick or something like that.
This is probably edgy and controversial, but did we really need or want a Wonder Twins movie? That's my was this out of all the properties that DC has, why was this the one they were like, yeah, let's greenlight this one?
Because I think it's an easy movie to make, especially if they go with the comedy aspect. I don't think it's meant to be this like massive thing. I'm very curious to see like what the actual story is and like do they verse a villain or is it just like sort of them? Is it them coming to Earth and trying to fit in? Is it meant to be like? And maybe that's why Temple Hill's doing it. They're like very indie, so maybe it's meant to be about them. Climate, like
I'm gonna ask the chat. Did anybody here ask for a Wonder Twins movie, and are you gonna watch it? That's just what I want to know.
I'll watch it because I think it's goofy. And let me
tell you what else was supposed to be funny, and it ended up being awful. Was Powerless. That was supposed to be a comedy, and that was awful.
Yeah, but that's also because they changed from the original direction, which potentially could have been good.
Yeah,
maybe. That's the thing. I think Earth 68, Eric, actually got to watch the original Powerless show before they changed it.
And he loved it, right? And he loved
I think so. I think he gave it a 9 out of 10 on the
Oh, wow. Okay, well,
series.
I need to speak to him then right away. We need to definitely have that conversation.
Okay, Paige, I got a question for you. Okay, so you're watching the Wonder Twins movie, right? All of a sudden, they go to Riverdale. Are you cutting it off?
It depends. What do they do in Riverdale? If they start taking drugs or what's it called? The drug they take, the Zibby Zabby or whatever it is.
I forgot. I stopped watching Riverdale.
Oh no!
Was there actually a fake made up drug on Riverdale?
Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle, and it was like like
Pop Rocks or something.
It wasn't it like the in the tube, like the
what?
Yeah. It was like in the tube, like the little
the dust, like the sherbet. Yeah, pixie stick. It was like a pixie stick. So if they go to Riverdale and they take Jingle Jangle, then I'm probably out. But even then, I'd be very curious to see what the result of that is.
I mean, they have
and actually might grip
on
me to the
Riverdale
movie even
now,
more.
So Archie has super strength now, so him fighting his Wonder Twin self would be
what if
hilarious.
This is set in the Arrowverse and it carries on from the tease at the end of Crisis, and it's a Wonder Twins versus the Wonder Group of villains?
What if it's Wonder Twins versus Peacemaker?
What if it's Goldface?
Oh no! No. Welcome back. I believe you were a Team Eric member before, Thomas. Welcome back. Thank you so much for the support.
Wonder Twins versus the new Rainbow Raider.
Oh geez. Oh no.
Well, she's now working for the council or whatever it is. So maybe she's the mastermind, corrupt.
So we're going to talk about this. We got a first look at the new Michael Keaton bat suit, and I'm going to show it here, and then we'll look at the older one. It's just for just to see there. Here we go. This is the new one, and as someone who went, because this is going to show how old I actually am, because I'm old as dirt. I actually saw the original film in the theaters. Like I went and saw that 1989 Batman movie when I was old enough to remember going and doing it. So that tells you how long ago that was. I love this upgrade. I think this looks really good. It's not supposed to be like the super stylized, edgy, Ben Affleck or, Robert Pattinson bat suit. I think this is a really good evolution of the suit, and it definitely fits for an older Batman. Any thoughts on this, you guys?
Is he wearing Jordans?
Oh, I don't know. I can't tell. It looks like
they look like just regular boots.
Yeah.
Oh, no swag.
So, what do you think though? Do you like this upgrade? Does it look nostalgically updated for you?
Yeah, it looks like the old suit, but modern at the same time. I think it looks cool.
Yeah,
he can move his head now.
Yeah, they probably used a material so he can actually move his head, because that first suit, the first two films.
But I think this is for the Flash. He's wearing this, and I don't think this was for Batgirl. I think, even though you'd assume he'd wear the same suit in both movies,
yeah,
I think he wears this in Flash.
Yeah. So just for the record, let's go ahead. I'm gonna share the older suit so we can see just how similar it is. So here we go. There's the original suit there. So the belt was different, and the logo is different, and it looks like it's got a more tactical chest piece. And here's another shot of it here. And the cape is much better. But yeah, look at the shoes, Paigey. You see them?
Yeah, the Jordans.
Yeah, they're definitely Jordans. I think for me, I like the new suit and I think it's nostalgically good. So I'm totally down with it. I did not expect them to give him like a super, like it has to look like an upgrade from that suit because that was the universe that his Batman was in. It wouldn't have made sense for him to come out wearing like this, stylized, Christian Bale Batman suit. It just wouldn't have looked good. So I'm totally okay with it. And I'm sure the scenes are going to be dark anyway, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of it in the daytime. So
see his fighting style.
Well, you know what? So has anybody gone back and watched the movie from 1989 or the second one that came out with Catwoman?
I think I rewatched that. I think I watched those first two maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
He has no problem killing people or letting people die.
I think that's a plot element in the Flash movie.
Yeah. Because one of the Flashes has an issue with that apparently.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so people that want to complain about like collateral damage in superhero movies, go back and watch the first 2 Batman movies for sure, 100, especially the second one, and just see how, because he does all kinds of stuff with his grappling hook that would definitely kill someone, and he does not care. So you talk about like the Batman that just don't care about killing the villains. He's at the top of that list, and that's.
But let's be honest. Superman would have killed if Tim Burton made that movie.
Yeah,
probably.
Absolutely.
Through the chest.
So Robert says, I'm down for anything Keaton as long as he doesn't try. Oh gosh, no, I'm not going to read that.
Wait, I thought that said. I read it in the comment section. I thought it said as long as he doesn't throw a batarang at Batgirl. Oh, that's way too far. All right.
I think he's referencing like one of those really bad like animated movies.
No, yeah, he's referencing the Killing Joke movie.
Yeah.
That was disturbing.
Yes. Okay. We got 2 more things to talk about before we get to the Flash. This next one is interesting because at first I thought it was like a random like nothing story, but then I read the article and I was like, maybe there's something to this. And this is an interview that Katie Cassidy did recently, which a lot of people were trying to say that she was talking shit about Arrow, and I'm like, not really. If you read the article, it's not really what she's saying.
They just
but did either of you read this article or no?
No.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to breeze through it here. Basically, so I say this in the most respectful, kind, realistic way. We really, really milked the cow. Like, come on, you evolve, you grow. I love learning, I love acting, but also I started in features and I'm stepping back into them. I'm directing, I'm writing, I'm tapping into this creative side of me that never had time to because I've been acting. I've loved acting my whole life, but I want to grow. And she goes on to say, it's not that I wouldn't have loved for this show to go ahead because I love working with everyone, but let's do something different. Let's shake some shit up. We know about superheroes. We've been there. What's next? There were vampires with the Twilight thing, Twilight again. And superheroes have been cool for a decade and will be forever cool. But let's do aliens again, or I don't know, monsters. Things evolve, and then maybe we'll go into space with aliens and monsters. I guess she doesn't know that Legends is a thing.
So this is a clickbait article.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes,
she's not even talking about the Arrowverse. She's talking about the superhero genre as a whole.
Yeah, and he goes, let's not to say I'm gone. I'd happily go to any other shows. I love those good people, their family. I've had so much gratitude, but at some point, that's why they say good things don't last forever. So when I saw this title and people were sharing it saying that she was shading Arrow, I'm like, did you read the article?
Yeah, she's talking about the entire genre as a whole.
Yeah. Some of the stuff she says comes from typical actor stuff. Like, I want to try something different because we've already done all this before. That's all actors say that. It's not her saying it specifically about, just the Arrowverse in general. But, she doesn't want to be perceived as going, oh, I'm so heartbroken and I'm completely destroyed that, Green Arrow and the Canaries didn't get picked up. She wants to seem empowered. She wants to get more work. She wants to do more things. So, of course, she's going to hype that up. So I don't think there was any shading of the Arrowverse in this article, which is what everybody on Reddit was saying. And I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, it's not shading.
Reddit?
Yeah, Reddit.
The smart people can congregate.
So my question is for the two of you and the chat, because I want to know what the chat thinks. Would you have liked to see her continue on in Green Arrow and the Canaries? Would you want to see where she went?
In its current form, no. In the form that it was, no. Like the actual way they set it up was very bad, so no.
I thought the story was overly convoluted, so yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah. Thomas says she's been saying this because Green Arrow and the Canaries didn't happen. If it was happening, she'd be singing its praises. That's true though. Like that is true. But that's typically why these articles love to like sort of rope people in. And I'm seeing a lot of yeses. A lot of people wanted Green Arrow and the Canaries. I honestly,
I think it's trolling. Why is it? Yeah. Okay, I think it might be Troll Saturday. I think that might be.
Giovanni says if you got to see Mia, then yes. So
we know not to listen to Giovanni though. That's a common logic of the world.
All right, let's get into some Flash stuff now. We're finally here.
You mean Flash?
Flash.
I have a lot to say.
We got two things to talk about. Then we're going to talk about the episode. But the first thing I want to talk about is some sad news, but not awful news. And that is that Jesse L. Martin is walking away from the Flash or leaving the Flash. But he's not leaving completely. It says here that he's been picked up for a pilot for a show called The Irrational, which is based on a book series. He's going to be the lead on the show. And he's going to be a world-renowned professor of behavioral psychology with a unique insight into human nature who lends his expertise in an array of high-stakes cases involving governments, corporations, and law enforcement. This is an upgrade for Jesse, for anybody that's worried about him. If this show does get picked up, which it seems like they're very excited about this property, he will be the lead, and that's similar to what he was doing on Law & Order, whereas he's definitely not the lead on The Flash. Also, this is probably not going to be a physically demanding role, so he won't be worried about injuries on set because it seems like it's going to be more of a mystery type show and less of an action show. What are your thoughts on this, guys? I'm sad to see him go, but I'm happy that he's getting this opportunity, honestly.
Yeah, like I think it's fine. Like happy for him. Like the thing is, it's important to remember. We were lucky that he even stayed on after, was it season 5 or season 6? I can't remember which one it was. After he had that injury and had to get the surgery because there was talk that he wasn't going to come back. Because, and then especially when you jump into the whole thing where like COVID happened as well, and there was the whole quarantine thing. So the fact we even got him for a bit longer was, a bit lucky. But I get like the glass half full is that there's a potential for him to appear into up to 5 episodes, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to see what they do, because my thought is that they have it that they just like he retires completely from what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that will they drop Cecile down as well?
I was gonna say one of the comments here is what's gonna happen with Cecile, because it would be very awkward for her to be around and Joe not to be there, especially when they have a child between the two of them. So this sounds to me like the only logical way to make this work, because they're not going to kill off Joe if they're going to use him. So the only way to make this work is to either have Joe take a job somewhere else and Cecile still works in Central City, which is weird, but at least that explains it, or to have Cecile leave, which I'll be completely honest, no offense to Danielle, but I would not mind if she was.
Well, I don't think she would leave. I think she'd just drop down to that same level as Jesse L. Martin.
You mean like a very limited role on the series?
So whenever he appears in an episode, she does, or maybe she's in like another episode or two, if and they just write it that way. But the thing is, it's also important to remember that I think they're going to they're probably going to drop a couple people down to recurring. You see that a lot into a final season, or even to the last couple of seasons as well. So
this is a good question, Giovanni. Typically, I think you troll, but that's a good question. What happened to her first daughter? We don't even talk about her anymore.
Yeah, I don't know why they. I think the last time we saw her was at the strip club or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Last time we heard about it was in season 6. So.
But
yeah,
she was older, right? I mean, she's on her own. So
well, she was old enough in season four to be at a strip club. So
yeah,
to be working at a strip club. So
well, what I mean is like she's not like 18 or 19. She's older, I think, like in her 20s. So it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense sometimes because with all the stuff that happens, you would think that she would show up or call or something.
That's where they send Jenna to. So
yeah, exactly. So, but this has also spurred a lot of toxicity and controversial videos online that because Joe is reducing himself to a recurring character instead of a series regular, that the Flash is going to be canceled. And I hate this because here's the thing. Even if the Flash were to end, the Flash, as we know it now, would never get canceled. It would not get canceled. The show would wrap up and end and have a proper finale to it. They would not cancel The Flash. It is one of their highest earning shows. The only way that show will go away is if they cannot make it work with the people that have signed back on. That's the only way that would happen. Yep. And Paige, you shared some videos that were doing it on YouTube, and it's just really annoying to me. There's so many clickbaity videos. The Flash is getting canceled. The Flash has been canceled. It's like obviously people that watch the show or that, keep up with the fandom in general know that that's not real. So those videos are made for people that just hate the show and click on it to give hate clicks. That's all it is.
That's my it's also a concern for even just the people online that are clicking on those videos, because I thought we've spent enough time on the internet to know what the difference is, and just generally if a show usually gets past that season 4 or 5 stage, it's never going to be quote unquote canceled. It's not just going to be halfway through a season of airing and be they're just going to pull the rug from under it, unless there's major issues behind the scenes,
right?
Or the lead is involved in some I don't know, trafficking ring or whatever it might be.
Well, a good example of that is it didn't get canceled, but it could have led to that was with the stuff with Black Lightning, because there's clearly some stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think that was canceled because it actually got to.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. The creative team ended it. Yeah. But I'm saying it would take seasons of that happening. But we've seen other shows get past that. Roseanne and the Connors was fired from her own show, and they continue to have the show without her. So it just really depends on
Charlie Sheen on 2.5 Men.
Yeah. It depends on what they're willing to put up with. So losing Jesse, who, as much as I love him and as much as he's the backbone of the show, not having him there, and this is a good thing. Ash even pointed this out with the $5 super chat. Armageddon was a test run for Joe leaving. Either Joe and Cecile by proxy leave Central City, or Reverse Flash breaks out of jail and kills Joe. I don't think they're going to kill Joe, but the point is that the show can function without Joe. Is it going to be the same? Look at people like Cisco leaving. He left and people thought, well, he's a second to the lead. There's no way the show can work without him. Somehow they've made it work. So it is possible. It'll be different, but that doesn't mean the show is going to be canceled, which I think is weird that those kinds of videos were coming out, especially for Joe, when Candace is the one on Instagram who said she hadn't signed on for another season. And if anything, that would be a bigger problem for the show than Joe leaving.
Yep. And even with that, I've seen so many Iris stands, West Island stands. As soon as she said that, they jumped on their soapboxes. So what? She said that Eric Wallace got online, did a whole interview, said, yeah, we haven't been picked up yet, so I wrote this season as a series ending. Mm-hmm. He also wrote season 7 as if it could end there. Mm-hmm. People have to understand, we've been through this so many years now. Actors, directors, they can only say what they're allowed to. Candace can't say if she's coming back for sure or not, if she's negotiating the contract.
Well, people forget, this is the same stuff that happened with Cisco for 3 seasons.
Exactly.
He always waited till the last minute. Carlos always waited till the last minute with his people to renegotiate and sign his contract. When he was ready to go, and he actually did leave the show, no one knew about it until it was announced because he kept it under wraps. So the fact that she's not saying anything doesn't mean that she's not going to sign any contract.
And also, it's important to remember, people like Danielle Panabaker, who publicly posted, we're getting a season 9. She hasn't signed a contract either. She's still in negotiations alongside Candace. They're the two that are currently negotiating because they've been there since season 1. So they're going to be the ones that get outside of grant are going to get paid the most.
Yeah.
Because you always get an upgrade for each contract. You don't get a downgrade. You always get an upgrade.
I hate that narrative that like even Grant only signed on for 1 more year. He's been doing that since what, like season 6, season 7?
Well, this season was the first one, but it's the same thing. It's like when after season 7 they offered him a multi-year contract because he said that, but he still only signed a year because that's what your agent would advise. Go at a year-by-year basis because it also can lead to more money.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Because if you do a multi-year, you might be locked in for 5 years at the same pay rate,
right?
Because you signed that one contract.
Or it's like a pre-negotiated increase. So it's like, you get like this much percentage increase per thing. But if you go year by year, instead of it being like 5% every year, you could go 10% this year, 15% the next contract when you do sign it.
But I will say, with Joe being recurring instead of a series regular, that gives them more money to play with when it comes to Candace and Danielle. I
think that's why they mentioned that in that article.
Right.
Because I think, which may suggest that Daniel Nicolette is also dropping down to whatever Joe gets.
Right. So that means with Joe and Danielle cutting their episodes by a lot, that gives them more money for some of the other bigger characters.
Did you all see that, like on Twitter somewhere, one of these articles that spurred from whoever broke the news first, all the articles started spurring from them like they always do. And in one of these articles, they said that CW hadn't even approached Jesse to renew his contract. And I'm like, I really find that hard to believe because, well,
that would be standard business operations. You would anybody that's on the show that's a regular character should get contract information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't believe. That's why I don't believe, like when this article started going and then you add in on top of that, our sources, even though we have no official confirmation, have confirmed with us that they're looking to have an abbreviated season 9. I'm like, that along with what Joe said, along with what they're saying about Jesse, I'm like, why wouldn't they offer him a contract? That just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I think what they did
high and dry.
I think they didn't offer him a regular contract. But they offered him that recurring thing, which opens a door, which they were like, we're glad for you to go and find another project, and then we'll work around that other project, whatever it might be. And I think that show he's doing is filming in Vancouver anyway.
Right.
It's just going to be like Tom Cavanaugh all over. Like Tom Cavanaugh left, but he's still there. So
right. I'm actually surprised. Is Carlos? He's not in Vancouver anymore, right? That's probably why he's not been on the show.
I think he lives in New York, doesn't he?
He's doing some other show and even got a haircut.
Anything that exists, like in terms of like shows that film in Vancouver, the potential for crossover is very easy because their filming situation, they're in the same city. Just like if you're in LA or you're in New York, it just comes down to scheduling. But I would say even LA, it's probably easier to go back and forth in Vancouver than it is on the East Coast. If you're in New York, it's probably a little bit more difficult to make that line up time wise because you have to cross time zones to get there. And so anyway, I'm sad to see him go as a regular, but like several people have pointed out in the chat, Joe has been reduced a lot on the show anyway. He's not even really with the police department right now. So
the thing is, I think if Joe wasn't such a loved character, then he probably would have been written out of the show a couple of seasons ago. Probably, I think because Jesse L. Martin was so good, that's why they kept him around. They would write stuff to put him in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as I said, the fact we even got him like after that incident with him and all this stuff, I think is a bonus. And the fact that he's not leaving completely, once again, bonus.
So Dwan Davis here with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He goes, hey, how you doing today? I got a question. Why didn't they want to do the Painkiller? Because it was a good show. So there's no official, I don't think there's ever been an official reason why they didn't want to do it. But okay, go ahead, Paige. Go ahead. Say, what are you going to say?
Well, I think it's just they had other options. And I think Painkiller, I think that if Black Lightning was an ending, they probably would have done Painkiller.
That's a good point.
And then run alongside it. But I think Black Lightning ending and using Black Lightning as a vessel to, pair itself up with Painkiller in certain ways, and obviously allowing characters to cross over. I think it would have been. I think it was the smarter option was to probably not go through with Painkiller because Black Lightning wasn't continuing.
Right.
And they just had other options. Like, regardless of what you want to think of Naomi, going into this season, Naomi was the better option over a Painkiller. It's not like they picked Green Arrow and the Canaries over Painkiller either.
Right.
So
I'll be honest.
New stuff over spin-offs.
I loved Painkiller. I said this every time he was on the show. One of my favorite characters. The acting was amazing. He did such a great job with that character. I didn't like the premise of the Painkiller series. For some reason, it just felt like a version of Black Panther to me. And with the updated, like where they were and the city didn't feel real. One thing I loved about Painkiller when he was on Black Lightning was that city is probably one of the most realistic cities we have in all of the Arrowverse in terms of like the way that people act and the way they interact with each other. And I liked Painkiller in that environment. I think he works good at a street level. They took him from that and put him into like this futuristic, like, Black Panther type area that I don't remember the name. What was the name of the place they took him?
Ashik Valley.
Okay, that's what it is. I knew it was Valley, but I couldn't remember the name of it. And it was just too advanced. If it would have been another city like one that we already have, that's fine. But it literally felt like he went to the future. Yep. And I think that combined with what Feige was saying about being able to pair it up with Black Lightning, I think they just didn't feel that was the right direction for the character. But look, I love Painkiller, and I would have supported it and tried to give it a go, regardless of whether or not, I thought the backdoor pilot was good. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Let's see. We had a Team Eric member chat somewhere, I thought. Yeah, Robert Blake. Is the negative still force a plot hole, or I guess wondering what the situation with the negative still force is? I don't think we're ever going to see anything about it again, personally. I think
not yet. I don't think Keaton has even dug deep enough to try to figure that out, because again, he's just now finding out about Reverse Flashpoint. He's just now finding out that even happened.
Yeah.
So it's a wait and see type thing. It might be a drop plot hole. That wouldn't surprise me. But I mean,
one thing Eric Wallace does that I think is good and bad is you may think that he forgot about something, and then like a whole season later, it comes back. So it may not have anything to do with what's happening right now. And then like next season, it's like, oh, negative still force. I mean, he does that, so I would not be surprised. But we have another super chat here from Adam Strangelove, $10 super chat. If a recast happens, I wouldn't mind if Iris gets a soft reboot. I honestly had trouble liking Iris ever since the episode when she was like, who cares if Thawne killed your mom? When was that? I remember that conversation. Was that
season 5? That's when Barry took Nora back to the future.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. So recasting of who? Iris, or just a reboot of the character?
Iris.
I just realized that scene was like
that was terrible.
But it was just like Barry. It was like Barry just diss tracked Iris. Like, Iris is like, I didn't get to say goodbye to him. It's like, Iris, I'm dead in the future. You're not. You'll get to see her. Don't worry.
Well, I always thought when that happened, I know we're not. This is going way back, but in that scene when that whole conversation happened, I remember being like, how did she look at Barry and say that with no emotion whatsoever?
Because
like
Todd Helbing wanted it.
Everyone was defending Nora with this Thawne thing, and Barry's like,
is this a loose reference that Lois is gonna have a go at Clark? It's like, I don't care about your dead relatives from Krypton. They deserve to be blown up.
I don't care that your dad's crystal got smashed.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like all these people taking her side because of Thawne, and I'm like, do we not realize what Thawne has done? Not just this, but look at what he did on Legends of Tomorrow. Like, this man is not. I believe at this point he's irredeemable as a character. There's just no way to redeem Thawne at this point. And I prefer it that way. I don't want him redeemed. I like him being this sort of evil character that, misunderstood or not. Like literally, like, I don't care. I don't care that he killed your mother. I don't care that he got your father wrongly arrested. I don't care that he's gone back in time and took me away from you and done all these other. I don't care about any of that. Like, Nora went to the future without me.
The whole thing just felt like, Barry, She just started liking me. You found out she's been lying to you and you just ran off with her. Who cares, Barry? Like, come on. We can fix this.
And now,
no, we can't.
And this is, and people disagree with me that season 5 is the worst season of the show. People have
I'm not disagreeing with you. I totally agree with you. I think
people have the balls to try and debate that with me.
I think. Can I address this too, real quick? Like the whole thing of like recasting. Can we just normalize? Don't listen to clickbait articles, clickbait videos. Just the CW upfronts are May 18th. Few weeks away. Let's just we put out an article on that a few days ago. Let's just wait. Let's just wait it out. If season 9 is the last season, it's the last season. If
the time to panic is on May 19th. The time to panic is on May 19th. If they don't announce something on the 18th, like actually whatever time it's over with, if it's 9:00 on May 18th and they did not announce any re-up of like Legends or Batwoman or anything like that, that's the time to panic. Exactly. It's not the time to panic now. Just although chill. I will say that on Twitter, I had to go in and blacklist or basically mute the words renew Batwoman and renew Legends of Tomorrow, because if I see another hashtag of that on my timeline from these writers' rooms, I'm going to explode.
I'm like, so Batwoman is like Batwoman. Okay, I get you guys showed up right before the pandemic. You got used to super early renewals, but come on, half of you guys came from other shows, probably came from shows that were on the bubble. Smallville didn't get renewed till the day before 99% of the time. Just chill. Y'all not the only network that's going through this.
Yeah.
Like
every here's the other thing. I want to point this out. This year, 2022, will be the first year for a lot of places where production will look like it did pre-COVID.
For the most part, yeah.
So everything is going to be shifting, and now the negotiations on what we need and what we can get rid of become a real thing. Because the last 2 years, it has been easier for them to just renew stuff because the production stuff is already ready to go. They've already got their protocols set up for COVID. It was easier for them to do that. Whereas now they can say, hey, we want this new show, Gotham Knights, and Batwoman doesn't look so good right now. So we're going to switch and take this other show. That is a possibility.
You stabbed me in the heart, Eric.
That is a possibility, but the time to panic is not now. It is on May 18th.
Like everybody's crying. Oh yeah, Flash is ending after season 9. That's it. Abbreviated. It's going to be 10 episodes. It's going to be 10 episodes, but Grant signed on to do 15. What's right and what's wrong? Like, just stop listening to until Eric Wallace or the CW president said something himself. Take everything with a grain of salt. Like that's all you got to do. Stop taking
there are a ton of YouTube channels that love to get your anxiety through the roof by making you think your favorite show has been canceled, your favorite actor has been recast. Do not let them tell you those things. Go on Google. It's a tool. It's on your phone. It's on your tablet. It's on your
iPad. Hold on. Just get my, what's it called? Just get my pen out.
Google. You go on Google, and you look up reputable sources for these articles.
Now, there is one issue. Yeah. The DC TV show comes up as one of those sources. We publicly can strike that off the record. It's been exposed as a
I would say for me, like Entertainment Weekly, Hollywood Reporter, TV Line, Deadline, places like that, if they're running articles together as a group, typically that means that it has been either confirmed or they have a legitimate source for their information. Deadline, if anyone else, like superhero news in metropolis.com comes out and says something and you're not seeing it on any of the major outlets, it's not a scoop, it's a lie. It is a lie.
Many people I've seen talking about so the bizarre word is Riverdale. What? Why are you listening to CBR? Why?
I saw that. I've told Paige to stop using CBR articles, but he doesn't listen to me. All right, before we talk about The Flash, Kata here says, who enjoys Eric's ride to work reviews or enjoys the regular reviews?
Well, this is actually a good thing. I started up a private tipping thread, and it's how many videos until Eric crashes the car while we're
Oh, okay, all right.
I've got $5 on five. $5 on five. I know there's a couple that are they're betting on one or two. They're taking the really high stakes for this one. So up to you, Eric, when you want to flip the car. While
I think so. I have a theory here. My car videos are literally. So let me explain the origin of those videos. Ever since The Flash started airing on Wednesdays, I have to go to work immediately after The Flash ends, right? So I like to get my notes into my phone. So when I go to make my reviews, I can have that playing and I can go, oh yeah, that, and then type that up. And then, oh yeah, that, and type that up. So I have all my notes in front of me. That is what that originally was. But then 2 weeks ago, The Flash broke me down and I just had to rant about the episode. And so I decided that I'm just going to upload this video because I didn't even care if I did any kind of editing for it or whatever. But then it did so well and people seemed to like it. I was like, I'll just do it again this week because this week again, up until like the second half of the episode, I felt like there wasn't a lot for me to really break down about it. So I was like, all right, because I don't usually recap. That's the thing about my reviews. I don't normally recap like scene for scene like most reviews do. I literally just randomly talk about how I feel about stuff in the episode. So
except Batwoman, you love breaking down Batwoman.
Yeah, I love breaking down Batwoman. But so for me, the videos in the car come off a bit ranty. And I think that's why people like them, because they're more like the historically documented fossils on my channel called Rant Reviews, which no longer happen anymore.
Demonetization.
Yeah, demonetization. So I had to get rid of those. But it's more along those lines where I literally talk more about my problems with the episodes than what I loved about it. And that's because there was a lot of things that I had issues with 2 years ago.
I was thinking that every episode can be you on a different form of transport. So it can be a car,
on a skateboard, on a surfboard, on
rollerblading.
Yeah.
On the skate bus. Like Naomi. Like, come on, Eric. Do a Naomi review on a skateboard.
Yeah. Crazy Cat Lady with a $5 super chat here and a Team Eric member. She goes, I'm going through a hard time right now. I could really use a laugh. It won't take the pain away, but make me laugh. Well, I'm glad you're here. Hopefully we'll make you laugh because we're about to talk about this Flash episode. And I'm pretty sure that Lance has a lot of stuff to say about it.
I have a lot of stuff to say about this. You got to throw up the picture for Paige because I don't think Paige has seen it.
Which picture?
The one I sent you about one of the West Alleners and how they basically felt as
yeah, we'll share that. I'll do that for you. So we'll do that. Ash here with the $2 super chat. Batwoman never looked good. Wow.
It looked good since Javicia took over. I'll say that. I cannot agree with that at all.
Karen Mahoney here with $2 super chat. I think Ronnie and Deathstorm are sharing a body. I don't.
I think he got his body snatched by Deathstorm.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that when we get to that because I got a lot to say about that. We'll get there, but I do not think that's the case. It could be, but I don't think it is. Thank you for the super chat. So let me see. Let me pull up your tweet here. We're going to be talking about The Flash, Season 8, Episode 11, otherwise titled Resurrection. Let's see. We find your comment here that you sent me. How far back was this?
Want to say Thursday.
Oh, yeah, I see. You sent it to me twice though, right?
Yeah, because I had to send you with the actual screen cap of what she was talking about.
Okay, all right.
He or she, I don't know.
Hold on. All right. So I'm gonna share this. All right. I'm going to share this so that you can explain what happened here. Here's the actual screen cap. All right, so tell us what happened here with this.
Okay, so me, I'm just minding my own business, just scrolling on Twitter. Somehow I'm wrapped up in all the West Allen Twitter or whatever. And they share the promo from the next episode. Like everybody's all of a sudden they're upset because Iris seems to always be in danger now. Like she's always disappearing or something. I can't.
That's actually one of my comments on my notes here. But go ahead.
So they look at this. They say, "I hope Barry is defending Iris, but I'm sure it's one of the clan members. So I asked, basically in a very sarcastic tone, so Barry can only save, so don't fight the big scary body snatch Ronnie fire demon unless it's attacking Iris. Got it. She says, yes, everyone else can die. She doesn't care. So my thing is, how can you be okay with the hero only saving his wife? Like, how can you? Why are you so attached? Like, I don't get stands. I don't get stan fandoms. It's just
it's
so
ridiculous
toxic.
stuff. It is. No, it is. It's very toxic. And the thing is that I have been accused of everything under the sun. And when I'm like, look, because a lot of times people, like earlier, I would say probably 2 or 3 years ago, people literally thought that I hated Iris West because I was critical about her storyline. And I'm like, I don't know how many ways I can tell you that I don't hate Iris. I love Candace in this role. I think she kills it all the time. I don't like the writing of the character. And I think that a lot of times she's been misused on The Flash. I would say more recently, she's been given more credit for the stuff that she's done. And it feels like her story's made more sense. Like, honestly, this season, except for a couple of minor complaints, they've actually given her a legitimate story that I think is interesting. And I don't have a problem with that. But for some people, it's still not enough because they want her to have her own independent story, but also be with Barry 24/7. And you can't,
like,
you
you're
can't do
mad
that
because you don't see them kiss. Like, well, I've commented plenty of times. I don't watch The Flash to see Barry and Iris hugged up. Right. I want to see the Flash running. I want to see him fighting. Like, that was my biggest issue with the first half of last season. I want to see him fighting. Like, I have no problem with Candace Patton. She does a phenomenal job. I'm a huge fan of hers. But it's Iris. Like, worse things have happened to her in the comics. Like, come on, man. Like,
we talk about the stress that she's gone through in the comics. There's been quite some stuff. So
I'm like,
Ashley with the $5 super chat. Every week it feels like someone on Team Flash has to undermine Barry's leadership or says his judgment is wrong. It's been like this for a while. I mean, this is not new.
This is just how to start drama on the show.
That's it. This is literally like, in order for the dominoes to fall, this is usually the first domino that falls over, which is somebody telling Barry that he's wrong or making him second guess his decision. Although I will say the last 2 episodes, Barry's been the one sort of like telling other people they're wrong, which I think is kind of hilarious.
But in this instance, he was right.
What is this, Paigey?
That's the Easter egg I got.
Oh, okay. A Humpty Dumpty.
I'm currently eating it. It's got like Smarties inside.
Oh,
sounds delicious.
Humpty Dumpty. I don't think I've ever seen those before. All right, so
I think there might only be an Australian thing.
Well, maybe there's one in my box. Maybe you got one for me.
Actually, there is. I think there is. I think there is a Humpty Dumpty in there.
Is there really?
I think there is.
Okay. So here are my notes from the episode. I actually took notes because I'm doing my notes for this like I normally do for my reviews because I've been doing car reviews for 2 weeks. But we have the Iris time sickness storyline this week with Tenya and Sue. Tenya is still very insistent that Iris, for some reason, did all this on purpose, although it's very obvious to anyone with at least one brain cell that Iris isn't in control of whatever is happening to her. Then Tenya proceeds to walk in and use her powers on Iris and phase her out of existence, I guess. And I'm not really sure what happened there because I don't know everything about Phantom Girl, but in the iterations that I remember, she couldn't like disintegrate people. So I don't know what she did. Now, I assumed that this was why Candace was going to be gone for 4 episodes. But then the next day I saw pictures of her for the next episode. And I'm like, so they solve it in 1 episode, I guess, somehow. Because Phantom Girl in the older iterations is connected to the Phantom Zone. So I don't know. I don't think this one is going to be like that. So thoughts on this?
Shouldn't Iris carry around like, I don't know, a pair of they whip out meta cuffs for less. So I don't know. Sue could have had them instead of trying to do the whole karate pose and then the kick. Like, you let this happen to her, and it was really stupid because Tenya, use your brain. She's gonna purposely do it after screaming out in pain.
But not only that, she's gonna do she did all of this after she helped you hunt down and find your mother that she didn't even know. What would be her intention for doing this?
And speaking
And
of
you
not
see
even knowing,
her blipping things out of existence without
exactly.
doing it on purpose. So
Tanya doesn't even know this woman to react this way. That was my biggest, like, it took me out for him. I'm like, okay, I get it. This is your birth mom, but again, you just met this lady and you had an attitude.
You've known
with
her exactly as long as Iris has known her. You've known her the same amount of time.
Yeah, she blipped her mom out of existence on purpose. But
what did you do to my mother?
We're gonna do the phone on accident.
This random woman that you just met. What did I do to her? I don't know. I'm suffering from something.
I said, "Come on, Eric Wallace, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. Don't make sense." And she's honestly, that was the worst acting from that girl too. That took me out too. I'm like, who hired you?
Paige, what did you think of the Iris storyline this week?
It felt weird, like constantly going back to it. I thought they would have been better off maybe dealing with all last episode instead of treating the Iris thing as like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then that maybe would have solved some of your issues from last week where they stretched out. Well, it was my issues as well, where they stretched out the Frost.
It felt like padding for the episode. They could have just included
where they could have just included all that stuff with Iris in that episode. Then she disappears and she's gone for an entire episode, and then shows up most likely at the end of this, like the next episode we have, which might have been the case. I'm not too sure.
Do you think so you're saying you think this might have been all for one episode and they basically split it up?
Maybe originally it was planned, but then when they filmed it, they decided to stretch it out.
It's possible because it was such a small amount of the episode was connected to that. So, Ashley with a $5 super chat. I'm just thinking about, before I read this, I'm just thinking about how at the end when we were all watching it together here, because I have a group of friends, we all watched The Flash, and when Sue showed up at the end to tell Barry about what happened with Iris, she's like, Barry, Iris is missing or something like that. And then it's like, Sue's like, did you hear me? Iris is missing. And I'm like, you just told him. Give him a second to like take in this news.
He was just sitting there like,
before you like get aggressive. Like, did you hear me? No, he didn't hear you at all.
Because she told him as calmly as possible and then just went berserk. I said, who told you guys to do this? It's a lot of odd acting choices this week.
And I will say this again, the fact that they're dealing with a meta and they're not getting Ralph's help just feels so weird to me. Completely weird. Like, I get it. I do get it. But I think what they want is they want newer viewers to just not even know about the Ralph situation. They're just like, we just don't want to acknowledge it, so we're going to pretend like it didn't happen. I'm going to ask both of you before we talk about the super chat. Do you like that they're just kind of like pretending that Ralph doesn't exist, or would you rather them just give a definitive, like, he's out of the world for like something, or he's in another country for the next 5 years? Would you prefer for them to come up with a reason why, or do you like that they're just not acknowledging it? What would you prefer?
Hot take. I think it's time that we forgave the man and just let him come back. Like, let him not even on a permanent basis. Just let him come back. I've been rewatching, like, I'm currently on season 7 now, so I was rewatching all of it, and Elongated Man added a lot, and I thought Hartley did great, and I think it would make more sense just to, if they're not going to add a capable metahuman to Team Flash, let's bring back an old one. Like, you got Frost, you will have Frost, Flash, and Elongated Man. It's
just drop 6 figures on someone, the tweets offended, and then hire him back. That's what you did with Hawaii with Ezra. So
exactly. He like come on. He's beating people up and cursing. You pull up old tweet. They rehired James. Warner Brothers hired James Gunn.
Yeah,
for the same exact thing.
Hartley is the only person in the last like 5 years from WB, other than like Johnny Depp, who has been basically deleted from their world. Everyone else has either come back or been given a second chance. Paige,
so
you liked Elongated Man and you enjoyed the character. Would you prefer for them to continue to just ignore him, or do you think they should like give a definitive answer?
What they should have done is, if they like knew, well, they knew because they fired him. It was not like they just like stood him down for a period of time. Like, they fired him and made a big public drama about it all. And it ended up not coming off and not looking good, everyone thought it was really, really harsh. So I never remembers like the way they pretty much used like Hartley as like
a scapegoat, basically.
A scapegoat for everything that was going on in America.
When they could have actually had him publicly acknowledge it and make some sort of declaration to change or to make things better, to sort of show that you can turn someone around from this. But they didn't do that.
No, and I think that's what the mistake they made. Sorry, I was eating chocolate. But the next thing was that if they had no intention to do anything with him and just do this like awkward thing, they should just recast, put an actor, and have the whole, or have that elongated man was disguised as someone else because he was still like running from the law, and then write him out that way. Make it that they were never cleared. Except they obviously wanted to keep using Sue as not a logical reason, but I think just to not make it that Hartley's firing.
I mean,
pretty much meant her getting.
You have a character that could literally look like other people, so you could come up with any reason why he shifted into someone else and something happened, and now he's stuck in that form and he can't shapeshift anymore. Yeah, at least you can still have the character on the show.
No, I wouldn't have done it for that long. I would have done it like really short term, a handful of episodes, and he's written off because it limits. Because no matter if it was a new character that came in, new actor, they would have got hate straight away because people were still like not happy about Hartley getting fired, and also he was really, really good in that role. And I don't know, I highly doubt they would have been able to find someone to play that role better than him.
He had a Jim Carrey quality to him that I don't think they could have replaced, honestly. No. And it's kind of sad because I'm not saying that what he did was right. I mean, he obviously did edgy tweets to try and get attention, and they came back in the wrong way. But I think he was a very talented actor. And so the fact that he allowed himself to be put in that position, I've said this before, social media, the internet is forever. Like, stuff you do online will haunt you for a long time. And when you become an actor on a big series or something that's going to be like a tentpole franchise, scrub your social media, all of it. Even if you were joking with someone, scrub it 100%, because if you have changed as a person, those things need to go away. That's it. You need to be careful, especially in positions like this. So, I don't know. All right, Ashley with the $5 super chat. It's amazing that Phantom Girl and Akuma in the Phantom Zone and Young Justice is better. Ooh, spoilers for Young Justice. Sorry. Character that mommy issues on the Flash. Well, the Phantom Girl on Young Justice is literally the comic book Phantom Girl. The one in the Flash is clearly not, and they're just using her within the show, like, because I guess they have no intention of ever doing a Legion of Superheroes storyline, even though there's tons of clickbait videos about that too.
Yes.
It's clear that the Phantom Girl in the Flash is literally just a character they're using for the storyline, and that's it. I don't see that. To be clear, no offense, because I don't like to say this about actors, I don't think she's doing a particularly good job on the show in terms of like this character. And maybe she's great, maybe it's the material. I'm just not engaged, and I don't think she's doing a very good job. That's just me personally. And this is not sending hate towards, don't go on Twitter and attack anyone or anything like that. I don't want you to do anything like that. But yeah, I don't think she's doing a very good job of portraying the character. And again, maybe it's not her. Maybe it's the.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's the character is not meant to be very likable.
Yeah, that's a good point. Martin here with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Martin. It baffles me that our people are still under the delusion that Red Death is coming. You heard a name drop from it 3 years ago. Get over it. I saw today, as I was putting together stuff for this, another Instagram post about Red Death and Cobalt Blue on the Flash, and I'm like, by the time we get Red Death, it's never going to be good enough for people that are expecting Red Death, because it's not going to be a Batman character. It's not going to be Batman. If they use Red Death on Flash, it is not going to be Bruce Wayne.
What if it's Ruby Rose?
There are going to be people who are going to complain if they use Red Death and he has no connection to the Red Death from the comics. People are going to be mad, even knowing that there's no way they could do that because of the way the Arrowverse is set up.
Somebody tried to tie Red Death to they posted it one of the Facebook groups. Lance Offretzer's Facebook group. Somebody in there literally posted a picture of Mina Dawin in the suit reveal or whatever from Canada Grass Photos and said, "Yep, they're definitely gonna use her and tie her to Red Death." I said, "How?" And they weren't even related remotely in the comics. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And plus, Red Death was a pre-crisis future thing.
Remember, there was another character that was mentioned that was tied in with the Forces storyline. You guys remember what character that was?
Right, say that again.
A character that was name dropped during the Forces storyline that a lot of people thought was going to also be the main villain of the season.
I phased out my brain through most of
Chronarch. You remember Chronarch?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be.
But the reason why nobody talks about that is because edgy take coming, prepare for it. Red Death, just like Godspeed, looks really cool. And so everybody wants them to be on the show because they look really cool. And Chronarch doesn't look that cool, so nobody cares if Chronarch ever shows up or not. So that's why Red Death.
People were talking about that though, like after the name
for
drop,
a little bit,
like,
a little bit afterwards.
I was like, is he really though?
Yeah,
it was a name drop by Philip.
Mark my words, and this, what is it? April 16th, 2022. If Red Death comes to the Flash, it will not be a satisfying version from the comics. It will be a completely different version of that character. Completely different.
Ruby Rose.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Ruby Rose. That would be great.
Kevin Conroy.
All right, so let's the one thing I want to say about Iris also is
edgy.
This storyline, and this goes back to something you were saying, Lance, reeks of a retelling of Iris being stuck in the mirror dimension, Iris being tracked by Savitar, Iris in peril somewhere else. They want Iris to exist in this world where she is self-sufficient and able to take care of herself, but also be a damsel in distress. They want her to be both of those things. And that makes for a very boring storyline. She's either one or the other. And the fact that they can't decide which one they want to use is very disheartening.
But I mean, I don't blame them, because when your actress wants to go back to California to get some sun every weekend because of her vitamin D deficiencies,
you're right.
You can't really she put it on Instagram. Like,
I'm gonna say right now, her Instagram feed is full of her living her best life. I'm not mad about it, but she is really just out there. Like, she is doing, like, FOMO is real. Every time I see her on the beach, I'm like, oh man. And I live 15 minutes from the beach, and I'm like, man, I want to go to the beach. I want to be Candace right now. So I get it. I do. But you're right. It sort of puts the writers in a tough position because they have to figure out a way to have her gone that makes sense within the story.
And then West Alleners get upset and try to say that's not the reason. But I'm like, you all don't really care about the overarching story about what they have to. You only care about her scenes, but you're not thinking about the fact that she literally just hops on a plane and goes home. She did it in the middle of filming for Armageddon, for crying out loud.
She did. She was like, look, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but I need the beach. So I'm just going to head out.
But I bought a new beach towel. It needs to be worn in. Sorry.
Like,
and also, I must say,
last year either
the Californian water, especially where probably she goes to the beach, isn't very clean. So it's not like she's going. Okay. I remember when I first went there and I went to the beach. I was like, it's pretty hot. I'll go for a swim. I looked at the water and I was like, it literally looks.
How does it compare to the Gold Coast?
We actually have blue water. Your water is like, it's like black. I didn't even know what's going on with the water. I was like, how is this even water? How is this even the ocean? I was like, what's going into this stuff? Why is it like so murky? It's like no clear to it, and there was no waves either. I was like, where are the waves? Like, terrible beach.
Yeah, he swims with the dolphins. Confirmed.
I'll tell you what though, when I was in Hawaii once, this is when I was like, this is like young Paige Flex. I was like 7 years old. I thought I was getting attacked by a shark, and it was just a dolphin.
Oh well. There you go.
I, when you have life flash before your eyes, was that, but it was only 6 years of life, and probably only like 2 of that was probably stuff that actually flashed before me.
Oh, all right. So this is the 15-minute warning. 15-minute warning because Paigey he's going on vacation this week, so he's got to leave as soon as we're done. So
no, I'm not leaving for another 3.5 hours.
Yeah, so right after we're done. Anyway, 15-minute warning. Anyway, because honestly, the next thing we're going to talk about is pretty much the end of the episode. Basically, the first half, and I said this in my review, was fine, but the second half of the episode was where everything really started to like move along.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what we have here is Caitlin claims that the Black Flame is Ronnie and that he wants to live. And Cecile claims that it's Ronnie and he wants to die. And spoiler alert, neither one of them are right.
Yeah, she kind of was.
I think because I think what it was is that I think both of them were right in regards to the perception of what they were being given. They weren't perceiving it wrong because Caitlin was being contacted by Deathstorm while Cecile was getting the proper Ronnie.
So you think that Cecile was connecting to Ronnie?
Cecile was almost getting like, because Cecile's not getting proper communication. She's just getting like the feeling of it.
Right.
So,
but Ronnie is only one of the people that's inside of that entity. Like it's not just him.
Yeah, I know, and that's why Cecile was getting the really dark thoughts because Ronnie knew that it wasn't him that was like coming through, that was trying to get through to Caitlin. And if they resurrect him, it wasn't going to be him. Because I believe that Deathstorm figure, there's still a slither of Ronnie in there.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think there is some.
It's not just completely Deathstorm
of Ronnie, but I don't think Ronnie is all there.
Like, no. Like all Ronnie. Like Ronnie's got no.
Definitely not now.
You know what it's like? It's almost like with Deathstorm on Earth 2. Remember, Martin Stein was within there.
Yeah.
But pretty much, like Ronnie could hear Martin Stein, but Martin Stein had zero control over what he was doing.
But I still don't think Cecile was right, though, because Cecile said that this thing wanted to die, and that's clearly not what it wanted, even though... So Caitlin assumed it wanted to live, and it did. It wanted to be free and be able to live.
But
so
Ronnie wanted to die.
Right. What I'm saying, though, is that neither of them was 100% right. Neither one of them was working with all of the information. Like, Caitlin was going...
Oh, no, but that's why... But I think that's why it was such a difficult thing.
Oh,
because
it was.
Both of them were getting either side of it, and it was pretty much... Who got their way.
But Barry put his foot down and said, I don't care how many times you've helped me save Iris, Ronnie has to die. That's what Barry said, basically. And I was like, wait a minute. Even if you believe Cecile is absolutely right here, you're making this decision very easily and very quickly. Like, you're not even having a conversation with Caitlin. She's telling you like, hey, I love Ronnie and Ronnie wants to live because I can tell we had a conversation about it. Okay, anyway, Ronnie has to die. That's basically the way that was. That's the way that conversation went. And I thought like, that's a little weird. I think Barry would have had a much deeper conversation than that. It felt like it was very quick and like, I don't know. Barry was a little bit insufferable for me this week.
I get it from both sides. The way I see it is like with Caitlin, like I seen complaints even in the chat right now talking about she was so insufferable, so irritating, being so
Caitlin stupid. Was?
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't see it as that. Coming from a person who I am married, I get it. You had your husband for a little, he was your boyfriend for a little while. You got engaged. You thought he died. You get him back. It's not really him. It's a old man possessing his body till you figure it out.
Right.
He gets kidnapped again. You get him back again. He has to go live with said man to try to figure out the powers. He comes back. He literally dies.
Yeah.
I would be freaking out and wanting to do everything too. I
want to point out the fact that this could have been Ronnie is not the craziest suggestion the Flash has ever had. We literally had children born out of Iris and Barry's love. So I think the fact that this could have been Ronnie, probably not the wildest thing that they've ever heard as Team Flash. So I thought that it was very quick to jump to everyone were like, also, I have to point this out. This is jumping all over the place, but this is hilarious and I have to say it before I forget about it. The fact that everyone on Team Flash, especially Cecile, was like, Ronnie has to die. When Ronnie comes back, they're like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy and I'm like, wait.
Ronnie plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Weren't all of you on Team Yeet Ronnie? I think you all were. So how are you happy for her? Because none of you had her back except for Frost, which made sense to me. But I thought that was a little weird. I'm like, okay. But jumping back, also, we skipped over the fact that Ronnie, I'm going to keep using air quotes, Ronnie killed people, a bunch of people. And even when he was brought back by Caitlin, she was acting like he was not going to pay for any of, like, he's not going to go to jail. Nothing's going to happen to him. It's business as usual in Team Flash. He murdered like half a dozen people, but we're just going to go back to playing Dungeons and Dragons and everything is good.
They were going to have a D&D campaign with a murderous fire person, right?
Right. And even before she brought him back, the fact that they did not seem to care about all the people that were killed in the wake of this felt really strange to me too.
The fact that she wasn't freaking out that she knew them like that.
It's that like, oh, he murdered all the. So okay, here, this is my recreation of that scene. This is the board up in Team Flash. And she walks in, she goes, oh yeah, those are 3 people that I knew really well. We worked together all the time, and he must have killed them. Anyway, so he's coming back, and I'm like, what?
But what? Barry's face during
am I wilding out here? Like, is it crazy that I'm thinking this way? Like, I just don't understand.
Barry was thinking that way too. His face he was flabbergasted.
You know, maybe that's why Barry's like, Ronnie's got to die. He's got to. I'm sorry, he's got to die. I know we've talked all this love-ish for a long time, and we try to talk our villains down, but no, he's got to go. He's got to go. Paigey, can you make this make sense for me? That they just expected him not to pay for any of the repercussions of killing a bunch of people.
It's
like he wasn't going to be locked up.
They literally said it in the show.
What did they say?
He wasn't in control.
That doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. People that run into people with their car and kill them may not have been in control with their car, but they still pay for that damage. They still go to jail.
Wait. Use that analogy again.
Someone's in a car, their tire blows out, and the car hits another car and kills someone. They still go to jail.
That's probably the worst. That's worse. That's worse than one of my analogies, and my analogies are all over
why?
The place.
Why? Because you think because.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Right. Okay,
here we go.
We're in the metahuman world.
Chill hat on. Go ahead.
No, it's Eric. I think someone wrote in the chat, overthinking. This is like someone with, what's the thing where you can like mind control someone? What's the power?
Telekinesis? Telepathy?
Empathy, whatever Cecile has, because apparently
telepathy.
He has everything.
Say the villain has telepathy and they control a mother of 2 to pick up a knife and stab someone in the head, and they can prove that it was the person mind controlling. Who goes to prison in the metahuman world of the Flash?
I don't know. I get the person, the physical person that did the crime.
No, in the metahuman world of the Flash, in the Central City in the Arrowverse.
But we're not talking about that. You know why? Because this conversation happened before anyone knew it wasn't Ronnie, and they still don't know it's not Ronnie. Right? They're assuming that it is Ronnie. Correct?
Say that again.
They are assuming that it is Ronnie, correct?
The Black Flame.
Yes.
Yeah. That Ronnie's within the Black Flame.
There was no talk about mind control. There was no talk about him doing. They are assuming this is Ronnie. So from their perspective, Ronnie was doing all of this to get to Caitlin. Correct?
A fractured Ronnie. They said it at the beginning of the episode.
No, now you're moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not.
Being fractured and being mind controlled is 2 completely different things.
It's a fractured Ronnie
that's that you are doing something in your subconscious or something that you may not do normally.
I think this is like literally a pointless debate. Like it's a really pointless debate.
It's not though.
And they also said at the end of the episode they were going to deal with it the next day. But of course, everything hit the fan when Ronnie decided to get out of bed.
Nope. Because no one knew.
Wait, no, hold on. What do you mean no? Don't just say no.
I'm not talking about the end of the episode.
You don't say no.
You are jumping ahead of what I am talking about. I am talking about when they first figured out.
No, you're talking about that there's no repercussions. Ronnie. And they literally said, we're going to deal with it tomorrow. We're going to let Ronnie rest and recover. The repercussions, your potential repercussions would be coming, I don't know, the day after, 2 days after, whenever they can.
No, I'm talking about Caitlyn's perception of what was going to happen. She's talking to everybody like,
but you know why? But you know why? Okay, so you know why? We have Armageddon as proof. We have Armageddon as proof for this.
Mm-hmm.
How many seasons have we spent with Barry?
I mean,
7. So, well, yeah, 7 leading into the beginning of Armageddon. I guess 8 sort of now.
Jesus Christ.
So if there's all of a sudden the Flash starts killing people, are we going to believe that's truly Barry?
They did in Armageddon.
Yes, they did. The same thing with the Bloodwork stuff.
But that's because it truly wasn't. So it's going to be the same with the whole Ronnie.
But I'm not talking about where we're going to go with it. I'm talking about a specific conversation in the episode before they knew or before they know that it is Ronnie. They are assuming that it is him. And Caitlin says, this is Ronnie killing people to get to me. At that point, there was no mind control. There was no fracturing. There was no other personalities. We were assuming that it was just Ronnie trapped in this black energy.
Yes.
And by the end of the episode, when he gets out, before we find out that he is actually Deathstorm, as far as they know, it is just Ronnie. And yes, they said they were going to deal with it, but Caitlyn's reaction to that was like nothing was going to change. She was happy that her husband's back and they're going to play D&D together. It was a very weird reaction to that, especially since
you know what it was. You know what it was, and the episode literally built up to it. You know what it was? It was an emotional reaction.
Yeah,
because that's what it was. It was a woman, a wife that had her husband taken from her, which she feels unfairly, and she has this one option.
I'm sorry, she had no remorse for the people that were murdered, and that's weird to me. That is very weird to me. Because even if I love someone like a brother, a sister, another person, if they hurt someone else, I would still feel some kind of way about it.
Because she was in the moment. As I said, it's an emotional reaction. She doesn't care about anyone else. The conversations with Barry and Cecile and everything said that. They proved that. She doesn't care. She has this one chance to get her quote-unquote beloved back that she's been trying to fill in the void for all these years.
She definitely just broke up with Marcus with the quickness. I feel
everything she did in this episode. That's the
thing. The thing you could say is that Caitlin was selfish, which I would agree with. But you know what? I would be in the exact same position if I was her.
So let me ask you this question.
And
your loved person killed people that you were friends with, because 6, 7, 8 of them, and you're just not going to act like any of that is a problem whatsoever. That doesn't fundamentally change the person that you're in love with.
Because that's a situation to deal with after the fact, after the matter. You got him back. Now you can deal with why was that happening.
You know what? I love this person for about a year and a half, and they're a mass murderer, but I'm just glad to have them back.
You're focusing too much on that side of things.
How can you not?
Because that's something that was meant to be dealt with after.
Yes, from a standpoint of like prosecuting or locking them up.
Yes, from a logical storytelling point as well. They're in the moment. They just brought Ronnie back.
So we're just going to accept that now we're to perceive that Caitlin loves Ronnie so much that it doesn't matter how many people he kills. Is that what we're supposed to accept?
That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it's something that you would deal with after the fact, which they said they were going to do. But the thing
they said that.
Yes,
she did not.
But they aren't going to let her get away with that either. Like, do
you honestly think that Caitlin would be okay with them trying to lock Ronnie up?
Oh no, and I wouldn't be, because I don't believe that was Ronnie either.
So that is a problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because at the end of the day, it wasn't Ronnie anyway. We know that.
She knows that. We know that. None of them knew that. Yeah. And she didn't know that when she said all that stuff.
Yeah, because once again, goes back to the thing. In the moment, and it's something that she's in that emotional state of mind.
I can guarantee you that she will talk about how many things Deathstorm has murdered right away, but when it was Ronnie, she didn't care.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
When she talks to people with the rest of the team about this Deathstorm thing, one of the
Yeah.
first conversations will be, "We can't let him get away with this. He murdered like 8 people." That is going to be the reaction to it. But that was not the reaction when it was Ronnie.
Yeah. No, actually, it would be very similar. It'd be once again an emotional reaction because she's been duped. She got fooled.
Yep. So it's okay for her to be portrayed as like a stupid emotional character.
No, I don't think she's stupid at all. I think any character, like Barry's been in that exact same situation as well. Do you remember Mirror Iris?
Oh, that's true.
No, that's not. But that's not the same thing, though.
It's very similar, though.
It's no, because the fact
is the same thing, but it's very similar.
No, he felt empathy for her at the end when everything was going down. He felt empathy for her.
But I'm not saying it's going to be the same result. It's just that it's on the same sort of area.
I don't think anybody's going to feel empathy for Deathstorm. I think I don't think we're going to.
I think they're going to want to chuck Deathstorm in a giant pool of water and go, oh, no fight for you anymore. Like that's what they're going to want to do.
I just think and I'm going to wrap it up here because we're spending a lot of time on this. That I personally think that Caitlyn's character, the way she reacted to all of this and the way it went down, if I were in love with someone who murdered people, I would not be reacting the way she is reacting. I'm sorry, I just would not. I could not. Because that is me being okay with what they did, and that's not okay. And I don't care if she just got him back or not. The fact that they acted like that was a non-factor to her at all, and she was laughing and smiling and talking about playing D&D at the end of the episode felt really, really fucked up. It just did. And she could be happy, but she was celebrating in a weird way. And so was everyone else. Yeah. Chester, Allegra, Cecile.
If anything,
we're so happy you have your murderous husband back.
If anything, the weird reaction should be by the people that didn't know Ronnie. So it should be once again. You can come back into the Cecile thing where Cecile was still doubting her thoughts and whether she was actually wrong or not.
Oh, also keep in mind that the people that they had tracked down that had been killed, there may have been more. There may have been more they didn't know about. And also, one of the big red flags for me was when they thought it was Ronnie back in the beginning of the episode, and then they tracked down where Ronnie would have been, which is the mountain where they were supposedly proposing at. The cloud, the black flame, was trying to attack people who were innocent when Barry went there, and he never told Caitlin, don't save him. It's not Ronnie. He just tried to attack innocent people. They never said that. Those people had nothing to do with Caitlin and Ronnie, which would have shown that it was not Ronnie. True? False?
Well, no, I think that was just plot convenience.
Really?
I think that. Well, no, because it's like the whole thing is that it's the mountain, and that's what he was saying before. Well,
the thing popped up and tried to kill a family that was camping.
Yeah, I know, but I think they needed this big thing where he just doesn't randomly show up. It has to be some sort of like, scary big flame head.
Exactly, and Barry shows up and saves those people and doesn't mention to Caitlin that Ronnie was trying to kill an innocent family when she gets there.
Well, I don't know the whole family. I think it was like Boy Scouts.
Does it really matter? That's really kind of
I don't know because there is a lot of conspiracy around the Boy Scouts and their true purpose in what they do. So maybe he was trying to save the day.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Okay.
So I'm saying that there was a lot of opportunities in this episode for people to make different decisions that I think would have been a better logical path. But for me, a lot of that was weak, I think, leading up, especially Caitlin's reaction. Well, actually, I don't mind that she was happy that Ronnie was back. I think it's funny the way they celebrated it, like he hadn't just killed a bunch of people, especially people which I thought was a little bit weird. The other thing that I thought was a little bit strange about this was that when Deathstorm came out or whatnot at the end, because we got to see, by the way, very comic book accurate. Love it, love it, love it. When Deathstorm came out at the end, I think, like, why would he tell her this stuff? Like, that was a weird reveal, right? Like when he turned around and like tells her his whole master plan. That's like supervillain 101 that like you see in like B movies and stuff. Like normally they just turn around and say, my master plan is. little weird.
I mean, this
no, because the plan had already played out.
Snatcher. Yeah, he was done.
The plan was already done. The plan was already done. He just explained what he did.
Why?
He didn't explain what he was going to do.
But for what reason?
Who's gonna stop him in that instant? Like
my exact point. Why did he even bother to have a conversation with her? He already got what he wanted.
Eric, do you not understand theater? Do you not understand dramatization? Well, that's what it was. It was a stereotypical, like, sort of like villain thing. Like,
I know, but that's what I hated
he went on.
It's like I didn't want him to do something like that. I wanted it to be.
If he was like, and now I can now do this, then I would have been like, okay, well,
I would have just preferred for him to turn around and been like Deathstorm. I think that would have been cooler than the conversation. But that's just me.
No,
but,
I think that might just be you.
I don't think it's just me, but we'd like to believe it is.
I definitely don't look at the chat because we know that you said,
I think Giovanni is taking
the regular offenders. I think Giovanni might have passed out.
Ooh, people are saying bad CGI for Deathstorm. I
think
totally
so.
disagree with that.
No, you know what it was? Because I think it was the fact that we were getting the what do you call it? Like the 480p
like YouTube clips or
hold
whatever.
on, look at this. I'll put it up on my screen.
By the way, Staggervore, I know I didn't read yours out, but it was up during our chat. Caitlin's credit was right. The one thing, if it was Iris instead of Ronnie, Barry would have done the same thing. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think he would. And to Paige's comment, the Mirror Iris story is probably the closest thing we have to Barry sort of overlooking like things that happen. But
Barry was about to let Carver go in order to get Iris back. He was about to make a trade, a life for a life, literally.
Yeah, what season was that?
Season 6. I just watched that earlier.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
A life for a life. So Caitlin is spot on. Like Barry was gonna let this man die.
Like, how does that look bad?
I don't see how it does, honestly. I said on my review that I thought this is super comic book accurate. I know some people are mad because they wanted the the Green Lantern tie-in with the Black Lanterns, but there was no way that was going to happen. I mean, this is about as close as we're going to get to that with, being tied to like Deathstorm.
Do you guys think that I had wrote about it on Twitter, but I was thinking like doing with the whole like the Firestorm Matrix and the what is it called? The
Quantum Splicer.
Quantum Splicer. I know he doesn't have his powers anymore, but I was thinking like, I mean, you're thinking it's Ronnie, you're thinking that the Quantum Splicer might help. Why not contact somebody that's had a lot of experience with it and that lives in Central City? I think this would have been a good time to at least contact Jax. Maybe he would have some ideas.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Like he knows so much about it. He's worked with it longer than Ronnie ever did. So maybe, I mean, if it really was Ronnie, they brought him back. They could do the formation of how it was Ronnie and Jason in the comics at one point in time. It could have been Ronnie and Jax if they wanted to go that way. Like I thought about, it would have been a cool way to just have Firestorm back, just like a last hurrah or whatever. Just a way to get Firestorm back.
I think saying that this looks like video game graphics isn't really an insult. Video games have gotten so good that their graphics are almost
even then. It just looks like it's CGI. Like, of course, it's going to look CGI because I don't know if you've been to many casting calls, Eric, but lately there hasn't been a lot of skeletons auditioning. So
right, yeah,
I don't know what's going. Maybe it's just an Australian thing. I know there's a lot of skeletons.
There might be a lot in LA looking for work, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they just might be anorexic. They might not be skeletons. So I'm not.
We complain all the time. There are a lot of valid complaints about visual effects on these shows. Like I think about a lot of Legends episodes where it didn't look good, and some of the other like older.
The only thing actually I was wondering is that I don't know if can I zoom in. Okay, that's as far as I can zoom in. What's going on here?
What
is that just meant to be like sort of like a grotesque effect or something like that?
I think it's supposed to look sunken in like a skeleton, right?
Yeah,
like
I think that's the rib cage.
Like the rib cage, yeah. Okay.
I think that the hands and the body are supposed to look emaciated, so they look more like he's dead. I think.
Yeah.
He's like ripped and dead at the same time.
But yeah, because he looks like he's got like muscles. He looks like he's got muscles and like.
I feel so bad for Ronnie. Like you go in a singularity, you separate with the old man, and you're the one that gets your body snatched. Like
Right.
Invasion of the demonic body snatchers.
The one thing I'm looking forward to is seeing him fly around.
Yeah.
Because Firestorm always looked pretty cool when he flew around, but now you got like this like blue sort of like flame sort of stuff going on. I don't know
So
how you
my
can
question.
say it's bad.
So
It's
now
like
that this is officially
mind-holding.
Deathstorm, do you think that Rick coming back is going to be? Is he actually coming back in another episode or no?
Well, he's meant to be in multiple other episodes, and they said that he's going to be. What was the quote?
He's going to be like, yeah,
embodying different characters. So was
Really?
that during this storyline? Because in the comics, Deathstorm was able to bring people back to life, like the other Black Lanterns back to life.
Whoa! Mind blown here. What if Iris, like Phantom Girl, sent her somewhere that's going to bring back dead people with her when she comes back? Like she's going to see dead people.
Well, I don't know. The next episode's called Death Rises, so
I mean,
there's going to be an episode where.
What if she sees Eddie? No one else can see him, but what if she's seeing him, like seeing him in her own mind or whatever, out and about doing things? You know what I mean?
I don't know if this is one of your troll things or this being.
No. I mean, like hallucinations. Like she's seeing him, but no one else can see him.
Because of Deathstorm. Well, I don't know. The thing that makes me wonder if they're doing that, because remember last episode they randomly just threw back to when Allegra's cousin died. What was her name? Slither. Whatever her name was. What was her name? Like,
oh gosh, I can't remember.
Ultraviolet. Yeah.
What you just call her?
Slicer.
I thought of like what was his name? Master Splinter. And no, what's another name? Then I thought of like anyway, Slither. I don't know. That's a new character name. But yeah, Ultraviolet. They showed her death again. So I'm like, is Allegra going to start seeing her dead cousin?
I hope not.
And then Iris starts to see Eddie. Maybe Barry sees Eddie as well, or Barry sees maybe Henry or something like that.
Barry sees Zoom. What if Zoom comes back?
Barry sees
Savitar.
Original Thawne.
Maybe.
Because what was the synopsis? It was.
Oh, by the way, though, sad news. We have a week without anything. This week coming up, there's no shows on.
Well, that means the after party next week is going to be obviously extremely edgy.
It'll be all like whatever, like if Ezra gets fired or something like that.
Okay, well, hold on. It depends because Eric might need to police this, but I need to get Eric's thoughts on this. What about a chocking competition for viewers? Viewers can practice the chock.
You know that we have this, which means that the next after party could be.
So down under box / chocking competition.
Yes,
that's the next after party.
That's what it'll be next time. Yeah. No, Moon Knight is on. Yes, obviously Moon Knight. I'm talking about Arrowverse shows. There's no shows on this week. So anyway, I guess we'll drop this down. I actually, regardless of my issues with Caitlin's emotional state, I actually enjoyed the episode.
You wouldn't think that based off your discussion.
No, I actually liked it. I actually liked the episode. I really did not like the previous two episodes, but I think this one was much, much better. And I am very interested in the Iris story. I keep saying that because I feel like we're not getting anywhere with it, but
I'm a bit worried about the Iris story because I just wonder if it's going to be one of those Eric Wallace talks it up too much because it's just Iris. Because I've seen a lot of people reference back to like interviews he did about season 7, about Armageddon. That Iris is meant to be a major part of Armageddon, but at the end of the day, she really wasn't.
Her major part was being tricked by
her major part was being the lightning rod.
Yes, that's true.
Like that was pretty much it. Like she actually didn't play that big of a role.
So is anybody else watching? I know Paige's not watching Young Justice. Are you watching Young Justice, Lance, at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll in a nutshell, I like the stuff on Mars. I didn't like the stuff with Roz. I like the stuff with Atlantis. Not too excited. Well, no, I did like this week's episode because we got Rocket. We're dealing with that storyline, which I actually like. So the only storyline I haven't really liked is the stuff with Roz. I'm
just waiting for it all to come together.
Yeah, because and also the stuff with Connor feels a little weird.
Yeah, that episode was random.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What about Chester live streaming again? I don't think much about that. I mean, that's what he did, and I'm not too
What's up, party people?
Everything with Chester, just okay. So moving forward, I hate everything with Chester and Allegra. Just
Allegra.
Just gonna put that out there. I like Chester as an individual character. I think Allegra adds 0 to the show, and I think the scenes with them together are bad. So just forever, unless I mention that they were good, just assume that I think.
Hold on, Eric.
Yeah,
are you listening?
Mm-hmm.
These nuts.
Are you saying that you like Chalegra? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Depends
how you want to interpret that.
Abdi, we are purposely not talking about that because that is so far ahead for the show that I feel like that's too spoilery to discuss this week. So I'm not going to, and I'm not even going to post pictures of it. I know that Lance and we talked about it, but then I thought about it. I'm like, that's so far ahead in the season that I don't know if I want to promo that on the cover. And also there's been some news about people's channels getting hit for it. So I'm going to not discuss it this week, but we will get to that at a certain point.
And that, of course, that's what Eric loves, being locked out of his channel.
I don't love being
By the
locked out
way,
of my channel.
someone said it's getting close to winter. Is the Unabomber returning?
Oh,
I don't want to say yes and or no, but maybe.
No. Would I say Chalegra leveled up this week or Chegra? No, I would not say that.
Can we reverse it and use Chester's name as the main one? Lester. All right.
Lester got it. Oh, that sounds like a bad word. Like
chuck an M at the beginning and he goes.
Yeah. Just I don't know about that one. So anyway, that's pretty much
the steel screen first. All right.
You mean the one she does, the one they love to make her do all the time? Is that one? You know, it's a funny thing was I was like, she's not even touching her head. If you watch the scene, she's just got her hands in her hair and she's doing this.
Wait, are you talking about Cecile?
Yeah. Yeah, they love to make her scream in every episode. That's like her favorite thing to do.
But are you talking about this moment?
By the way, in the chat, what would you score this episode 1 to 10? This one? Yes, that moment. That moment. The one that they have her do every single week. That one.
The Psyduck moment.
Yeah.
I also have a question from somebody on my Facebook page. They wanted to know, what do you guys think about the whole, like in the article where they say they want to have everybody says a Kevin Feige like figure. One of my associates said, what if they put Greg Berlanti in over all of DC films?
Well,
funnily enough, I think he's actually the best option, one of the better options.
I would agree.
The issue is that it would be a demotion.
Yeah.
He's got a production house that's, I would argue, much
successful,
more
very successful.
The DC portion, because it includes the DC portion. It includes pretty much all the television outside of a handful of shows.
Yeah.
Which is what's been carrying DC for the past decade. So it would be a demotion if he went down to it. So in that article, they applaud Walter Hamada. They say they like what Walter Hamada's been doing. It's more about making more profit off that because they're happy with the consistency in regards to the critical reception of pretty much most of the stuff. So it's more about, that's why I think when that business person comes in, but if they end up being the main person that's sort of choosing, where the content goes and what content happens, that's where it maybe becomes an issue. But then again, Walter Hamada still has his like Greg Berlanti is a consultant with like Hamada and Jim Lee, and like they use Jeff Johns, and I think they use one of the other comic creators. I can't remember who it is. Yeah, I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But they use a couple of different consultants. So Greg Berlanti is already technically involved in that. I think that wouldn't surprise me too much if they maybe even model a lot of not a lot, but maybe some of the stuff off what he does in regards to connectivity and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like you were saying, having his own company and being put in charge of another thing.
That's the thing. He wouldn't be able to do it. He'd probably have to put someone else in charge of his company if he went over to do the DC.
Which would be a mistake because his company is very successful.
He said, it'd be a demotion. Like, I know. They'd have to pay him like $1 bajillion to do it.
There will be no game night this week because Feige is part of the game nights, and Feige is going to be in a tent somewhere cooking over a fire.
Why don't we just do that next week for the after party, saying nothing's on? Why don't
We could do
like,
that along with the
with Eric getting sick off chocolate, potential vomit, potential choking due to chocolate choking, and then quiz where Eric's mind is too heavily affected by sugar to think straight.
Oh no!
Will D&D be a part of the game night?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Can we invite Deathstorm?
We can, and I think he would be the best player, probably.
All right.
Well, I don't know. You might just kill us.
It's possible. All right, we're out of here. We'll see everybody later. Have a good night.